And here we go.
Here we go indeed, folks. What's up, everybody? It's episode number 355 of the Lone Gunman Podcast. Reports from No Name Key. And if you can tell from the show art, it appears we are in some kind of office surrounded by big swinging dicks and Gerald Patrick Hemming on one side and Loran Hall on the other. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be diving into a little bit, trying to figure out who this Lester Logue dude was. And if you joined us Wednesday night as an exclusive channel member, covert operators and above, you would know what we were going to talk about here tonight, back on Wednesday night.
You would have.
Right, Joe?
You would have. That's true. And Rob, I think you glossed over the most prominent person on your episode graphic, the image.
Oh, yeah?
Yourself.
Wait a minute.
Yourself in the bottom right-hand corner.
Ah, yes. The cartoon version of myself. This is me contemplating. Who was Lester Logue? See, if you notice here, I put a lot of little details in here. There's a pile of cash on the table.
Yes.
There's a Johnson 30-06 rifle on the table. And there's a welcome to Dallas or Mr. Kennedy poster on the wall. And there's also a wanted for treason poster on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
As everyone knows, Dallas wasn't very hospitable. Well, at least certain people. When it comes to President Kennedy visiting Dallas. And these would have been the extreme right wingers who we've been on the trail of here the past couple shows.
We have.
So it's only fitting that we continue things a little bit. But before we dive into it, Joe, welcome our lovely people into the chat, if you will, please.
Sure. I'll start with Zendar61. Howdy, all. Hello, sir.
Zendar.
Have a great show, everyone. I believe Trey is with the missus tonight and can't join us. Let me see. He did say this somewhere. He's going to miss tonight's show. He's in New Orleans, with his wife. Drove by the Riley Coffee Company building and have noticed that it is being converted to an apartment building.
Of course it is.
And that's the trend, man. Everything's being fucking converted to apartment buildings these days.
Yeah.
But hope you have a good night with the missus, Mr. Trey, and we'll catch you on the replay crew.
Yes.
Tiny Dancer here before the 7 o'clock time frame. Just want to give her credit. So hello Tiny. Turin Horse is early tonight. Ooh, the show will be a good one.
You damn right, Turin. It's going to be a good one.
We agree.
They all are.
Yeah. Sally, evening all, just made it on time. Had to finish an episode of Scandi Drama. Cliffhanger. How are we doing all tonight? What is Scandi Drama? Do you know?
I do not know.
That must be an Irish term.
Probably some Irish drama series.
Yeah. Real Housewives of Ireland type of thing.
The Real Whores of Dublin.
Oh, man. South to West is a Friday already. Yeah, I mean, they do come quick.
Let's fucking go.
I can attest. They do come quick.
They do. That's what she
James, sitting on go. Hello, sir. And
James.
The double B.
Ha. What's up, Brandon?
Yeah. And Mr. Paul Cummings. Hello, sir. How are you? Thank you for joining us. And Mr. Timothy Ryan. Hope y'all doing well. We are. It is your boy's birthday tomorrow.
That's not mine.
No,
Joe's.
That's me. Your boy's. I'm your boy, in theory. Allegedly.
Another year closer to 40.
I'm getting there. One more.
Let me wipe this tear out of my eye just for you, Joe. How old will the birthday boy be?
Bro, you nailed it. 39.
Oh, yeah.
1 year closer to 40. You nailed it.
Yeah.
And I don't think you knew that. So that was a good guess. Paul Lanichi, what's up, sir? I've been messaging with him this week. How are you? Yes, all JFK, no bullshit. That's what we do here, sir.
A lot of horse shit, no bullshit.
Yep. Well,
Great T-shirt.
Yeah. We have some good T-shirts in the works, guys. Let us tell you, Mr. Craig, and then Gerry Hemming. I didn't read this before I started reading it, so it might be a mistake. And then Gerry Hemming farted while stealthily running through the enemy and leading JFK researchers down rabbit holes. Well, that's what he did, as will someone we will also talk about later in the show, which is Mr. Frank Friolini Sturgis.
But as we will come to learn tonight as well, maybe he had a good reason to.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right. And that is it. I think we said hello to everyone. So Sally said it's a Scandinavian drama. I didn't know there were such things.
I think I saw one of those on Netflix. A lot of snow. Like a murder happens in the snow in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
and the quirky cops have to solve it. The quirky Scandinavian blonde, blue-haired cops have to solve it.
Blue-eyed, yeah. Yes, they have good genes over there in Scandinavia. Pun intended to the drama that's been going on with Sydney Sweeney, who is a gorgeous creature. And last, Mr. Ashley came in. Morning, lads. Always enjoy tuning in on a Saturday morning down in the OZ. Yes, and thank you for reminding me, because Mr. Anthony Thrip, our favorite carpet salesman, checked in earlier as well.
Aha. Excellent, Joseph.
Isn't it cool to like wake up in Australia and just like tune in to live TLG? That must be awesome.
It must be cool. They're in the future.
Yes. And Mr. Jack Taylor, who is becoming a grandfather, he told us. Maybe he didn't want us to tell everyone.
Jack would rather be here than in the ER waiting. We don't.
No, I think it's the gender reveal. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I respect you popping in, sir. You're the man. One of our super
hopefully
spies.
It doesn't come out rainbow colored.
No, Jack has good genes. Pun intended.
Excellent genes. Very handsome man he is.
Oh, wow. Right, whoa, hold up.
What?
Hold your horses.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Brandon coming out strong. Who got him, Joe?
All right, let's see.
Hopefully you did not.
I did not, because I got one last week. Packer Jack got one.
Aha. Buddy John.
Yeah. See, this is our way of like
Dave.
Yeah, seeing who's in the chat, even if they didn't write a message yet, right?
Yeah.
They're gifted a membership.
A lot of lurkers.
So, yeah.
No,
that's fine. You can lurk. Yeah. Jeffrey Gutterman, welcome, sir. Yep. And everyone has past access to past spook level shows for going back. Shit, how long has it been now, Rob? Like a year of members only?
Yeah, we've been doing like the last Wednesday of the month for spooks as well. So take advantage of it. You can go back and watch a whole bunch of shows that you couldn't watch before. Just click on the members only tab that is in. If you click on the podcast tab, it'll open up different categories, and one of them will be members only. Click on that, and it'll show you the ones that are available to you at your level, at your membership level.
Right.
So enjoy them.
Yes.
Charlie Wyman.
Yes, he got one as well. And then the double B comes on top of the 5 memberships.
Whoa.
And a $10 super chat to me. Rob, you're not getting half of this. Have a wonderful day. You're the man. Thank you, sir. You are the fucking man.
Wow. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah.
That was freaking awesome. That deserves it. Yes. All right. So for those of you guys who were here on Wednesday night, you saw this. But for the benefit of those who weren't here Friday night, I'll show it to you now. We got some new merch in the shop, Joe. One of them being this, the Shave Your Kitty shirt. The Logue Podcast, Shave Your Kitty. And also,
reference to your kitty, of course. Your
yes.
cat. Yes. Nothing.
Joe hasn't seen this one yet either. Want to see my trouser mouse? With a cartoonified version of your boy.
Wow.
And if you look very closely at my left arm, you'll see a very crude rebel flag tattoo.
Confederate flag.
Can you read what it says right above it, Joe? Can you get close enough to it?
Yes, I'm going to spell it out, though. It says DAGO.
Yes, it does.
So how many super chats would it take for you to get a DAGO tattoo? Is what me and the double B and everyone else is wondering.
Oh. $1,000, and I will go under the knife, and I will get it right on my chest.
Stop it!
I would.
Okay, that's a little cheap. I thought you were a little more expensive, but I respect that.
At this point in my life, $1,000 is $1,000. Who gives a shit what my chest says? People are like, there you go. What is that?
They wouldn't know.
Oh, damn, I just said it. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. It happens.
It happens.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Trouser Mauser, it's a funny inside joke from, was it last week and then the members only?
Yeah. And we have some fantastic merch coming up for the folks who are going to Dallas this year to Lancer Conference. We're going to have an awesome t-shirt for you guys to purchase and wear while you're there that it definitely will garner some attention. And people will be like, oh my God, where did you get that shirt? Oh my God, I love that shirt. Where did you get that shirt? I have to have one. But we're not going to release it probably for a couple more months.
Yes. Things are in the works.
It'll definitely be out in enough time to order and receive by November 22nd. So don't worry about that. But it's effing hilarious.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It is. We have some fun things in the works for sure that we're working on for this fall. It won't be your November nothing burger. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, Joe, let's get into Lester Logue.
All right. Who is this Scafuza? Who is this Scafuza, Mr.
Well,
Lester Logue?
Lester Logue. Let's see if I can find this. All right. And of course, it's small as shit, but this is Lester Logue's birth certificate, Joe.
Okay.
All right. Now, I believe he was born in 1931. And let me just verify that.
It seems young for him.
1913. Sorry.
Okay,
I had 3 to 1 transposed.
That's okay. It happens.
Yeah, this was his birth certificate. He was born in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, which is the same county Pittsburgh is in. So
Southern PA.
He wasn't born actually in Pittsburgh. It was some little shit town like outside of Pittsburgh. Sorry, audio's going out there.
It's okay.
But yeah, I did happen to find this on Ancestry. So his full name is Lester Lloyd Logue. Okay. The triple L.
Okay. It's a triple L.
The triple L.
I like it.
And I could not find a picture of this dude. But
I've never seen one of him.
I found a picture of his brother. Okay. And this is what his brother looks like. So you can imagine what Lester Logue kind of looked like. This is his brother. And why is the audio going in and out? Are you hearing that?
No, I hear you perfectly, sir.
Shit.
Let us know. Let us know in the chat if you hear anything.
No, it's my earbud.
Okay.
I gotta put it back in.
All good. Do you not know how to use your?
I did, Joe. It came disconnected. Okay. Now all is right with the world.
Yes.
So
yes, he looks like a common Pennsylvania working folk.
Yeah.
Older gentleman.
Now I did happen upon Lester Logue's draft card from the 1940s.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave a general description of him. 6'1", 200 pounds, black hair, blue eyes. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure him and his brother kind of resembled each other. I don't know if he had such a sweet stash as his brother. So let's see what this is here. All right, this is part of his draft card.
Right.
And you can see here that he was employed by the Standard Oil Company of Venezuela. Okay.
Right. Was he an oil geologist, kind of like
He was.
Demorchild? Right.
He was. So he was working for Standard Oil, which was one of the biggest oil companies around at the time. And they had an office in the Republic Bank building, I believe. All right. This is Lester Lloyd Logue. Right. Mm-hmm. And something else that I found, of course, is his gravesite. Mm-hmm. Lester Lloyd Logue.
Triple L, yes.
Triple L. Born in 1913, died in 1991.
You would have a hard time saying that name, considering Liberty Lobbity 5 times fast, I think, with your L's.
Lester Lloyd Logue. Lester Lloyd Logue. It's the B's that fuck me up, not the L's.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, sorry.
Now you might be looking here and thinking to yourself, okay, wow, his wife Phyllis wasn't born until 1944, making Lester Lloyd Logue. Let's see if we can do the math. 40. What's 44 minus 13? 31.
31 years older, yeah.
So Lester Logue was 31 years old when his wife was born.
God bless him.
Well, now here's the rub, Joe.
Oh, okay.
He had a first wife who he actually married in 1944 named Beth. Okay.
Okay.
So he married his first wife the same year that his second wife was born. Lester Logue and his first wife, Beth, had one daughter. And this is interesting. Now, I came across their marriage certificate, Phyllis's and Lester's. Okay. Yeah. They got married. They did not get married until 1987. Okay. Lester Logue divorced his first wife in 1987. And he married his second wife also in 1987.
Whoa.
Now, let's do some more math. What's 87 minus 13, Joe?
87 minus 13. That would be 74.
74. So Lester Logue was 74 years old when he married his second wife, Phyllis. Okay.
Mm-hmm. God
And
bless
at the
him.
time, Phyllis would have been in her 30s, I believe. 87. No, she would have been 43. So he's 74, she's 43 when they get married. Now, the funny thing about this is they were living in Texas, but for some reason, they decided to drive to State Line, Nevada, which is, I'm guessing, right over the border into Nevada, to get married. Because their marriage certificate is issued in the state of Nevada and the town of State Line. Okay.
Well, people do go to Vegas to get married. I'm not sure if it was the thing back then, but whatever.
I mean, when you're 74, I mean, are you really eloping to Vegas to tie the knot? I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't.
If you're marrying a Gumar, maybe.
Maybe. But 4 years after they're married, Lester's dead. So they were only married for 3 or 4 years before Lester Logue passed away. And you see who he's being buried beside. Not his wife of 40 plus years, but his wife of 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's a little telling.
Of his character, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Now, of course, we all know the stereotypes of rich, old oil men in Texas marrying young, hot wives, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look no further than, what's that chick's name? That crazy chick that was in Playboy in the 90s?
Oh, I know what you mean. The one that married
Anna
the guy.
Nicole Smith.
Yeah. She married the guy that was like, couldn't get out of the bed, right?
Yeah, he was in a wheelchair. Yeah. But he could get it up. He just couldn't get it out of the wheelchair, apparently.
Oh, man.
So following the trends here, you see where I'm going. I mean, this guy obviously had money, you know, lifelong in the oil business, high up, big swinging dick, loaded.
Right.
Does his wife dirty when she gets to be an old model and trades her in for a young model.
Right.
Basically cuts her out of his life, cuts her out of his will, cuts her out of his graveyard, everything. Dirty. Lester Logue.
Yeah. Might be comment of the night so far, Southwest.
Yes. Now, the reason I named this show what I did, Reports from No Name Key, is because I came across a report from No Name Key from Gerald Patrick Hemming to Lester Logue. And the date of this, Joe, is August 13th, 1963.
Right. Before the assassination, Hemming is writing to Lester Logue.
Right. And for those of you who don't know the backstory, okay, and Joe will get into it a little bit more when we get to the Loran Hall part of this, but Lester Logue was originally one of Gerald Hemming's big fat cats, right? To the tune that Lester Logue was giving Hemming $500 or $600, 5 or 6 times a year. So if you translate that math into today's dollars, what are we looking at there, FinTech?
We're $5,000-$6,000 a few times a year, say 5, at least 30 grand in that area, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands.
Yeah, a lot of money.
A significant amount of money.
Yeah. And this was Hemming's guy, right?
Yes.
But as the year 1963 progresses and we get closer to the assassination, we have Loran Hall kind of trying to slide in, because at one point Hemming took Hall with him to go meet with Lester Logue.
Right.
And then Loran Hall started visiting Logue on his own.
Right. So you're stealing the connect, right?
Right.
Right. Which is, not going to go over well.
Hence why I said earlier that Hemming may have had a reason to be pissed and throw Hall under the bus when it comes to what happened in Dallas. So let me just give you a slight overview here of what your money, to the tune of $25,000, $30,000, $36,000 a year, is going to get you from Gerald Patrick Hemming. And it is a very lengthy, detailed report, of which I'm not going to read all of it, but I will give you a basic overview. I mean, there's nothing real juicy here. It's just Hemming trying to justify Lester Logue's donations. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you want to keep this guy, you want to feed him what he's believing, right? So he thinks his money is being used in a rightly manner by Hemming and these other guys. So it starts off here. Dear Lester, best wishes to you and the family. This is the first time in the last few weeks that I've had a chance to sit down and write anything of interest to you. Davey sent a letter off to you last week, and I think it covered most of what concerns the opportunities in the air cargo business. Now, this mysterious Davey guy is mentioned quite often in this letter from Hemming to Logue. Obviously, somebody that Logue knows as well as Hemming. I don't know if this is a slang or a shortened term for somebody named Davis, or if it's somebody with the first name Davey, of which I don't know. And if it refers to somebody with the last name of Davis, well, take your pick, Joe, because there's a lot of them.
There's a few. Yeah.
You're probably aware of the latest developments relating to the Cuban action groups and the offer of training camps and raider base facilities by certain Central American governments. So far, the news media has contributed to the following information to the public. The ex-president of Nicaragua, Luis Somoza, visited Miami 3 weeks ago. Somoza opened conversations with all of the 9 action groups and their leaders, and also held meetings with a limited number of exiled political leaders. Somoza offered the use of Nicaragua as a sanctuary, a site for training camps, and a jumping-off point for future raids into Cuba. Miami newspaper headlines announced that ex-Bay of Pigs brigade leader Manuel Artime has decided to move his headquarters to Nicaragua. A few of the well-known exile politicians have recently traveled to Nicaragua to hold interviews with Somoza. So, basically, he's telling Logue about Somoza's visit and that it might be a good opportunity to move the training camps and set up some kind of deal in Nicaragua, and it would be a good jumping off point for raids into Cuba rather than doing it from U.S. soil, because they're facing the neutrality law bullshit. But of course, Joe, to do that, it takes money, son.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of money. You gotta have money for this kind of stuff, right?
Yes, sir. That's why everyone was grifting to try to get it.
Yes. He says, I'm inclined to believe that there is basis to the reports that the DIA, that's the Defense Intelligence Agency, is involved in the Nicaragua training base proposals. I would assume the theoreticians in the CIA are not too pleased with the idea that DIA operatives will continue trespassing on their de facto properties, in quotes. Some clues to things to come can be found in an interesting article by Stuart Alsop in the Saturday Evening Post from July 27th. You will see on page 21 of this issue that Alsop says that the DIA has closer connections with the military man in the Guatemalan junta than the CIA. This would indicate a new trend that the DIA has closer connections with all of the CIA military leaders than has the CIA. I'm sorry, Central American military leaders than has the CIA. Alsop goes on to say that the DIA has no choice but to concentrate on the political strategic intelligence, which is the CIA's chief function. So as you can tell here, Hemming's not just having diarrhea of the mouth. He is very careful in how he words things in this letter. And if it hasn't come across to you yet, Hemming's a smart motherfucker.
Yes.
Right? We all know.
He definitely is. Yes.
And I mean, sharp, smart, very intelligent.
Yeah. Maybe why he was able to stay alive.
Yeah. He says, during March of this year, many of the top Pentagon and State Department specialists on Cuban operations traveled to Managua, Nicaragua, where they held a conference with the top military men of the Central American republics. It is possible that this meeting was a prime step in the development of a joint Central American Cuban exile U.S. plan to overthrow the Castro communists. So basically what he's trying to say here, or sell to Lester Logue, is the fact that the DIA wants to work with exiled Cubans and mercenaries in an attempt to try to overthrow Castro by using Nicaragua as a base and garnering support from the rest of the Central American nations to do so. Because remember, on its public face, the CIA at this point has kind of said, we're hands off Cuba, basically. No more, off the books raids. We've got nothing in the works. Russia withdrew its missiles. We're good. Castro's a nut job, but you know what? Fuck it. He can stay over there and be a nut job in his own country. We're not that worried about what's going on anymore. So things have shifted from the CIA to now the DIA. At least this is what Hemming is telling Logue.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes on to say, everybody learned a lot since the Bay of Pigs, but have the right people learned the right things? I hope that adherence to the principles established by the veterans of the SOE, the OSS, the AIB, Maquis Franche, Kachina, Karens, and others will prevent a repetition of Dieppe, Gallipoli, Dien Bien Phu that was ingloriously repeated at the Bay of Pigs. Now that's a lot of mouthful of horseshit to say.
Yeah, good job.
Hopefully things don't get fucked up again like they did at these other various places before. I read where many of the top echelon administration figures are boning up on guerrilla warfare. I hope they see the similarity to present-day Cuba that existed during the anti-Japanese operations in the Philippines and Burma, Malaysia, and elsewhere. Reading about free French activities in London strikes a note of similarity to the Miami of today. The frustrations, the grand blunders, the party bickering, well, let's wait and see attitude, and all was rampant inertness during the 40s. So he's going on and on, and he's trying to analyze different things in the military campaigns of the past as to what will possibly work with Cuba in the future, referencing Pork Chop Hill, Man Against Fire, Bay of Pigs, questioning did the training they received preparatory to the invasion give them confidence or not? Was this training adequate from a professional standpoint? What percentage of the brigade used their individual or crew-served weapons? Were the designated leaders really justified and later proved themselves as capable leaders? I have conducted numerous interviews of the martial type, not only with the brigade veterans, but with the guerrilla veterans of the Sierra Madres, Cristal, and Escambre. The results have been extremely enlightening, not to mention the educational aspects of all. I've been a military instructor for more than 8 years, the last 5 being devoted to Cubans and Central South American nationals. I have a very low regard for the Latin American soldier, but I have found that Cubans can be the best Latin soldiers of all if they are handled correctly, or the worst if incorrectly handled.
Ain't that the truth?
So that's a backhanded compliment from Gerald Patrick Hemming to the Latin soldier,
Right.
if you will.
They can be extremely effective, but at the same time, they're out of control.
You gotta know how to handle them correctly, Joe.
Yes. If you don't, then they're going to go.
You got to keep them bastards in line.
Yeah. If not, they can go rogue.
Then he tells Logue, the majority of the instructors I propose should be North Americans or Europeans, i.e. whiteys, most of whom will later accompany their students on combat operations as their leaders or advisors, depending on the situation. These students native to rural areas should be kept segregational from the students that are city dwellers. Both the commanders and the instructors must resist the tendency to rely more on the English-speaking students and later delegate authority to the English speakers without regard as to the individual's proven capabilities. So, only leaders speak English, if you know what I'm saying. If you don't speak no English, you can't be a good leader, Joe. Sorry.
It's somewhat true. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes on, and it's, a lot of racial profiling here, if you will, and how, he can do it better. He says, Davey and I have covered most of the angles on this new situation with all of the key leaders. They don't want to be led by the hand again, especially by men that are not planning to run the same risks as they are to face. Most covert action group members are willing to serve in a force legion counterinsurgency that would be used to combat communism, uprisings in Central and South America. This would be a fine training vehicle in that their time spent in training would cover the security required in many areas of the host country. And this goes on and on and on until we get to the end, Joe.
Okay.
Which is where you pull your hand out of your pocket and extend it forward like so. And you ask very nicely, sir, can you spare a dime? Please, sir. Please, sir, can you spare a dime? Again, let me say, we are really hurting for small finances, sir. We need fuel for the vehicles and boats used in training. We need food for the instructors. And fuck the students, right? No. And the volunteer students. We have been promised relief from some of these hardships in the near future from certain individuals native to New York and Chicago. I'm assuming he's referencing the mafia there, Joe.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay.
Give my best to Patterson and to the men we met with at the club. Say hello to your family for me and Davey. Sincerely yours, Gerry Hemming. Gerald Patrick Hemming. So very interesting.
Yes. Yeah. And you could see the type of drama that would could have unfolded if Loran Hall took some of Gerry Patrick Hemming's funding from this well-to-do oil man, right? You could see where the drama starts.
Yeah. And these guys, and then we showed some of these pictures Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have members of Interpen. We have Gerald Patrick Hemming in the very back middle, the tall guy. To his right, a little shorter with the full-on goatee and the hat. That's Lawrence Howard.
Right.
In the front here, short guy in the dark jacket is Roy Hargraves.
He was a stud, huh? He
Yeah.
looks like one. He looks like a gangster.
And help fight communism by war on Cuba. You can see written on the storefront behind him. The man to the extreme right of the photo, the tall gentleman, that would be Gerry Hemming. The man right in the middle foreground is Roy Hargraves. And right behind Roy Hargraves' head stands a familiar face you all might recognize as Frank Fiorini, or Frank Sturgis to most.
Yes.
And a lot of other scafoozas that are scattered around.
Definitely.
From Interpen. Now, Joe, we talked about a little while ago on the show, and we were mentioning A.J. Weberman's book, The Oswald Code.
Yes.
Well, he also wrote this book called Jerry Did It, The Life and Times of Gerald Patrick Hemming. And, we were looking at these photos that Weberman had developed, and you can see how he matches them up to be Hemming. Is it or not? I don't know. We don't have a real full-on front facial shot. The hats don't mean much. I mean, I think everybody in the service had a hat like that. You know what I mean? But,
right.
He did some extensive interviews with Hemming in the 70s and came to the conclusion that Hemming was involved in the assassination. And of course, Hemming has told a lot of tales over the years. And I believe one of the tales that he told to A.J. Weberman was that he was in Dallas in November 1963, and he offered to buy Lee Oswald's Mannlicher Carcano from him and told him, we'll just bring it to work tomorrow and I'll buy it from you. And then he never showed up to buy it from him. And you know what happened, right? Of course, the president gets shot. Oh, they found the rifle. Oh, shit. So basically, he was alluding that he helped set up Lee Harvey Oswald to be the patsy, right? Because allegedly he had some kind of knowledge of some kind of operation that was taking place. Is this true or not? I doubt it.
Me too.
But is there a kernel of truth in some of the things that Hemming said? Sure.
Of course.
Let's see here, Joe. I got a bunch of pictures here, and I don't know what I'm looking at.
And it's okay. And I have a picture of the address book from the Oswald Code later that might talk about Frank Sturgis being in there. We'll see.
Yeah, and I found this article from, I believe it was, I can't remember the magazine it was from, but Hall was taking over a lot of Hemming's old contacts, including General Walker, including Lester Logue, right?
Yeah.
And several others. There was I believe it was Wally Yates and Boats Welsh, or a couple other local Dallas extreme right wingers. Not of the ilk of like General Walker and Lester Logue when you're talking about big money funding.
But still connects.
Still connects. Yes. And
Mr. William Seymour there on the right.
Oh, yeah. Enjoying a cigarette.
Yes. Another famed member of Interpen.
Blame him. Let's see.
Yeah, so, and in the past few weeks, we've talked about how the Cuban exiles, the extreme right, the soldiers of fortune, they all kind of intertwined, right, in their circles, and that's kind of what we're building upon here.
Yeah. And when Hall was questioned by the HSCA in his testimony, he said a lot of interesting things. And one of them is that he testified that in 1963, every meeting he attended, he heard somebody plotting or talking about somebody should blow Kennedy's head off. Hall defines himself as part of the radical right. Hall was not aware of any one plot to kill Kennedy, but several. While in New Orleans, Hall puts himself in New Orleans. He said he went to 2 locations and that he was with Gerry Hemming on both these occasions. One location was some laundromat owned by Frank Barthez, a CIA asset.
Yeah.
Former member of the Cuban Revolutionary Council as well.
Yeah. Present at Oswald's court hearing, I believe it was on August 10th, right?
Yeah. And another guy they visited in New Orleans was named Larry Logue. But it says he was out of town and not at the house when we got back in the car and went straight to Miami. But Larry Logue was a known CIA agent. So take that for what you will. Hall testified he was in Dallas during the last few days of September for 4 to 5 days. He was en route from Los Angeles to Miami with a trailer load of equipment. Hall said the equipment in the trailer that he drove to Dallas included machine guns, a 20 millimeter cannon and ammunition, 50 pounds of C4 explosives, primer cord, several Garand 30-06 rifles, and medical supplies. Hall testified he went to Dallas in September of 63 to contact Lester Logue, who Hall stated supported us in various ways. Hall testified that he used the alias Lorenzo Pasillo during the Dallas trip of September 63. He testified most of us used aliases or noms de guerre. That means war names, Joe.
Oh, okay.
In French.
Thank you for pointing that out. I would not have gotten that.
So back to Lester Logue. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. Hall testified that he was waiting for Logue in Dallas for additional funding to get a boat for the raids on Cuba. So he went to Dallas to go see Lester Logue to get money to buy a boat, which I'm guessing is not cheap because it ain't cheap today to go buy a boat.
No.
You know, one that doesn't require paddles, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Hall testified he visited a guy named Welch as well. That was Boats Welch.
Yeah.
And he actually stayed at his house for a couple of days.
Boats Welch.
Yeah, until his wife was like, "Get this motherfucker out of my house."
Trying to get boats from boats.
Whiteys with skid marks, and I mean, he stinks. At that time, Hall did not stop to visit General Walker on that September 63 trip. Hall denied during testimony telling an FBI agent that he was in Dallas with Lawrence Howard and William Seymour, never involved with Sylvia Odio to acquire military equipment for anti-Castro raids. Lester Logue was a geologist who owned an oil company, very wealthy. This is what Hall's saying. Hall testified that he spent 1.5 hours with General Walker in Dallas, which is a long time if you're not doing things. Hall testified that the purpose of the Lester Logue introduction was because, quote, Logue was in sympathy with our cause, the Cuban thing, and had very deep pockets. Logue was Gerry Hemming's contact. Logue also had a much bigger interest in preventing Kennedy from deleting the 27% oil depletion allowance that Texas oil men could use to legally pay no taxes on their millions of dollars of earnings. So what he's basically saying here is that people like Lester Logue in the oil energy field, geology, had incentive to want Kennedy dead. Hall testified that Logue gave him $500 to $600, 5 or 6 times, all in 1963 to purchase equipment, gas, and so forth for boats. Hall testified the first time when he was with him, Gerry Hemming got money from Lester Logue. Hall testified Lawrence Howard was with Hall when they brought the trailer to Logue's house in Dallas in September of 63, and that was the only time Logue involved with storing weapons for Hall. Hall testified that he attended several meetings at Lester Logue's office. At one meeting in Logue's office, attended by Hall, there were 6 people, who also included the president of Texas Instruments, who I'm guessing was a giant swinging dick.
Yeah.
And a truck company owner named Jack, last name unknown. There was also an unnamed representative of H.L. Hunt at the meeting. Joe? Okay. According to Hall, the purpose of Logue's meeting was to organize all the Cuban groups under one leader, because Hall and his interpen were unsuccessful with Cuban raids. They had lost too much equipment to not just the Cubans and Castro, but to the U.S. Coast Guard, the INS, and the FBI. The attempt to form a Cuban government in exile failed because the different anti-Castro Cuban groups could not agree or come together to work as one.
Yeah, we know that to be true.
Hall testified that at this meeting, the truck company owner Jack made a comment about killing JFK. Jack offered up 50 grand large and wanted others to match it to get JFK assassinated. Hall testified that he declined the offer politely, and Logue forbid any further assassination talk in my office. The other men at the meeting did nothing regarding the assassination suggestion by Jack. Hall testified that he talked to Lester Logue in 1967 when Hall was subpoenaed by Garrison. Logue told him, quote, "Go in there and tell him the truth," unquote. That was the last time that he says he ever spoke to Lester Logue. Hall testified that he talked to Logue. Oh, I'm sorry, I just read that. Hall testified
in September 63 is the last time?
No, 67 when he was subpoenaed by Garrison.
Okay, I see.
Hall testified that he stayed at Logue's house in Dallas for 3 to 5 days. Hall left the trailer filled with equipment there for 2 to 3 weeks in October of 63. Different month, different trip. Hall left Miami on November 12th of 63 and said that he was going back to L.A. by commercial airline. November 12th, 63. Leaving Miami, Hall. Then they go into this thing about the Hathcock and Payne. HSCA counsel Triplett asked Hall, "Did you ever tell Richard Hathcock or Roy Payne when you returned to L.A. from Miami that you were leaving L.A. on or about November 18th of 63 and returning to Dallas?" Hall said, "Absolutely, I did not." So he's denying it there. I don't believe him for a second, by the way. And then the next question he asked him is this, Joe. After the assassination, did you become owner or part owner of a bar or motel? Hall answered yes. Hall testified in July of 64 he took ownership of a motel which he owned with his wife. He said he paid $48,000 for the motel.
Oof. It's a lot of money.
In July of 64.
Yeah, it's almost $500,000.
Hall testified that he made 5 or 6 trips to Dallas in 1963. Hall testified at the time he was working with Gerry Hemming before the JFK assassination. Hall did not think Hemming in the CIA, but Hall got a copy of a court order from a federal court in Miami where he petitioned the court to direct the CIA to give information concerning him and Hemming. Hemming stated in this order that he was CIA since 1960, and Hemming went so far as to put his CIA identification number on this court order. Now, that's interesting because the CIA disavows all knowledge and association with Gerald Patrick Hemming over the years. Officially. So take that for what you will.
Right. What did you say, Rob? You said 6 times in Dallas in 1963?
That's what he admits to, yes.
Okay. Do you want me to...
I think it was a couple more than that, but that's what he admits to.
Do you want me to bring up the DPD arrest report for September of Loran Hall?
Sure.
Okay. Because I want to see if you can figure this out with me here, right? So this is the arrest report on investigative prisoner Loran Eugene Hall. The date is October 17th, 63, right? So you were talking about September, which is when Logue bailed him out, right?
I don't know.
Or did he bail him out on this thing in October? I'm not 100% sure. But, it has a bunch of numbers here. It says Officer Heard, stop the above subject on Central Expressway because officer could not read the license plate number. Subject's car was searched. Sorry, I'm reading slow. It's hard to read. Was searched by Officer Heard plus 4. I don't know what that word is. DEYE Drino. I don't know what that means.
Dexedrine.
Oh, yeah. Because he was arrested for prescription pills in this. Yeah, it says it later. Dexedrine, yes. Tablets, there we go. Plus 21 SPAS. I can't read that. In amber bottle with the name of a Petra Senior. Officer Wagoner found a bottle in something blue, H blue. Oh, I'm sorry, this is really hard to read. It looks like AWOL. I think it says barbiturates, actually. Officer official with
phenobarbital.
Yeah, with tablet, Banodrine.
They had some pills.
Yes, they had some pills. And ironically, Rob, so this is October 17th and 18th, right? The next page of the police report is unreadable in the DPD archives. Yes. You cannot read what that says.
It's probably because it's the back of the paper, Joe.
No, I checked that.
You know how they do it, right?
I know. I checked that.
Sure that's not the back of a paper?
I am sure. I checked that. I double checked myself.
It sure looks like it.
I know. And then you have the Special Service Bureau releasing their automobile a couple days later on October 21st, 63. Yeah, to Loran Hall. I guess. See, I don't know if Logue bailed him out in the October or September incident, but Loran Hall was. It might have been October, but Loran Hall. Well, I think it was the gun, the gun, not the pills thing. But Loran Hall was in trouble in Dallas a couple times in the fall of 1963.
And he left a trailer full of guns at Logue's house in September for a couple weeks.
Right.
For some reason.
Yeah. In his
and
own
then came
words.
back and got him. And I guess took him to New Orleans or Miami or wherever he took him to. And then on another jaunt through Dallas, they get busted for the pills.
No luck on these guys, huh?
And NK had a good 48,064 is equal to almost $500,000, $500,000.
Yeah.
Hall's wife must have really hit the church bingo back to back. Yeah. And we posited too, like Wednesday night, that say something like this happens, the scenario that Hall presents, where he's in meetings with these big money people, big money players, offering money to kill JFK. And that after the assassination, these guys go back to said swinging dicks and say, hey, we did it. We got away with it. JFK's dead. Pay me my money. Right? Or
because now you have leverage.
You start singing.
Right. You have leverage over them at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
So that type of thing might have been happening as well.
Yeah.
And you can see that if you were Gerry Hemming and you have scafoozas like Hall and Howard, see, Hall was never really in with Interpen and Gerry Hemming. Lawrence Howard was for sure, right? The difference was Lawrence Howard was from California, same place as Hall, and they had met out there and in their, in the same kind of ring of right-wing people, and they become friends. But Loran Hall never really becomes a part of Interpen. Lawrence Howard kind of gets pulled away from Hemming and Interpen by Hall, to the tune of, all right, look, Hemming's full of shit. He's a CIA guy. He's all talk, no action. Nothing ever happens.
These guys ain't going to do shit.
They ain't going to do shit. I know a bunch of his contacts. We can just go swoop underneath of him, go and take him in, take that money, use, get that grift money.
Yes, we can grift better.
Split it 2 ways instead of you just getting the breadcrumbs.
That's a good point. Yeah. We can grift better.
Right. So the worst thing that Loran Hall ever did was go into that pawn shop on November 18th, 1963 in LA and get Gerry Hemming's rifle out of hock. That was the worst thing he could have done. Because now Hemming can say, he's got my rifle. He picked it up in LA and then he went to Dallas. Do the math, people. And oh, by the way, Vidal Santiago was there too. And oh, by the way, my buddy Roy Hargraves was there, or at least he admitted that he was there. And who knows, Hemming might have been there as well. But Hemming had a good reason not to be in Dallas. Because the dude's 6'7". He would stand out like a sore fucking thumb.
Right.
You can't have somebody like that in the mix because they would be remembered right away. He would know that he cannot be in the mix, especially if they're trying to pull something like this off. Therefore, he is behind the scenes somewhere. And if he's smart, he's not even in fucking Dallas. Right? But he might be pulling some strings. And he might have even set Hall up by saying, hey, man, bring me my rifle before you,
Yeah.
And, if you're leaving on the 18th, you can definitely make it to me by then. bring me my rifle. Because he says he never got the rifle. Hall says he returned it to a dentist friend and that he gave it back to Hemming. Hemming claims he never got the rifle back. And we all know about the reports of the FBI showing up at Hathcock and Payne's pawn shop the next morning after the assassination, inquiring about Roy Payne and Loran Hall.
Right. Morning of the 23rd. Right.
And there's only one reason that they would do this is they found their fingerprints on this Johnson 30-06 rifle in Dallas. That's the only explanation. So when you start to parse all this shit out, it's like, whoa. It's like, whoa. But anyway, take it from there, Joe. Let's dive into these individual scafoos.
Great. So you want to go into Mr. Frank Fiorini Sturgis?
Oh, why not?
All right. Scafusa Sturgis, for lack of a better term. I have some good pictures of him here. And man, he has a fascinating life. He is, like, I understand why people consider him a suspect in the assassination, right? A dude was fighting in the Sierra mountains with Castro. Here he is on the left here, pictured with Castro. On the right is his freedom, like his freedom fighter thing, image. So let me read you from Spartacus Educational. Frank Fiorini Sturgis was born in Norfolk, Virginia, December 9th, 1924. 6 years later, his family moved to Philadelphia. In 1942, Sturgis joined the United States Marine Corps, and during the Second World War, served in the Pacific Theater. After the war, Sturgis attended Virginia Polytechnic Institute before joining the Norfolk Police Department. I did not know he was a police officer before this, or before the JFK stuff. And in 1948, he became manager of the White Horse Tavern. He also served in the U.S. Army 50 to 52, so I guess he re-upped there. There was followed by a spell as an owner-manager of Top Hat nightclub in Virginia Beach. In 1956, Sturgis moved to Cuba. He also spent time in Mexico, Venezuela, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Panama, Honduras, a lot of those kind of Central American countries.
Oh, yeah.
In 1958, he made contact with the Central Intelligence Agency as the U.S. consulate in Santiago. Over the next few years, he worked as an undercover agent for the agency. His control officer was Sam Jennis, who I'm not familiar with. Sturgis also became involved in gun running to Cuba on 30th July 1958. Sturgis was arrested for illegal possession of arms. However, he was released without charge. Shocker, not really. There is some evidence that in 1959, Sturgis had contact with Louis McWillie, the manager of the Tropicana Casino. Wonder that. And we're going to get into that question in a second once our boy Geraldo Rivera asks him that exact question. After Fidel Castro gained control of Cuba, Sturgis formed the Anti-Castro Brigade. Let me just go a little more here. This is him in a little later life. In his book, Counter-Revolutionary Agent Hans Tanner claims the organization was being financed by dispossessed hotel and gambling owners, which operated under Fulgencio Batista. I butchered that first name. According to the declassified FBI documents, Sturgis participated in anti-Castro leaflet dropping raid over Cuba with Pedro Diaz-Lanz, former chief of the Cuban Air Force, in October 1959. Sturgis became involved with Marita Lorenz. Actually, let me stop there. And let me play you this clip from the 1970s, 1976.
Bell bottoms and killer collar alerts.
Yep. Oh, shit.
Yes, Ellie, I don't know. I heard some crazy things about Sturgis in Central America as well. Like, I don't know if it was he claimed that he was the one that killed Che Guevara and then cut his head off and played soccer with it, or if somebody else made that assertion. I don't know, but interesting, right?
That's crazy. Yeah. So let me play this here.
Most of you know Frank Sturgis is one of the 5 men caught burglarizing the Democrats in the Watergate building. It's hard to believe, but that was almost 4 years ago. In any case, Mr. Sturgis is now on parole after serving over 14 months in jail for his part in that crime. And since 1972, we've learned something about his extraordinary career prior to the Watergate break-in. During the late 50s, he was one of Fidel Castro's right-hand men, first as an intelligence officer, and later as a minister in the Castro government. At about that same time, Mr. Sturgis was recruited by the CIA and became, in effect, a double agent, working for Castro. That was the ostensible job, working also for the CIA on the sly. Mr. Sturgis, welcome.
And man, Geraldo goes hard at Sturgis here, man. You're going to love this.
Several weeks ago, you made some statements concerning Jack Ruby that caused quite a stir. You said, in effect, that Mr. Ruby had visited Castro and met with other people.
And keep a good look on his face here, guys, because we're going to go into the whether Frank Sturgis was in Dealey Plaza after this video.
Yeah, look for tells.
Yes.
Cuban officials. The topic of their discussion was the elimination of President Kennedy. I want you to tell me exactly what you know about that alleged meeting.
The information that I have received over the past several months pertaining to a meeting in Havana, and at this meeting, Fidel Castro was present, his brother Raul Castro, Che Guevara was present, an Argentine woman was present, another officer by the name of El Mexicano was present, who, by the way, is an American citizen. Another Cuban officer was present, also Jack Ruby. At this meeting, there was a discussion about guns, the sales of guns, possibly drugs, and in return for that, the elimination of the President of the United States.
You don't have first-hand knowledge. You didn't see Jack Ruby at that meeting, true or false?
I did not see Jack Ruby at that meeting.
At any meeting that you were personally involved in now, Frank, was there a discussion of the assassination or the elimination or the attempted murder of the President of the United States?
I was at several meetings with Castro, and at one of the meetings with Castro, it was discussed that he, as soon as his government is well established, that he was going to run American businesses out of Cuba, especially the gambling casinos. And we discussed counter-revolutionaries that were the United States.
What did you interpret that to mean?
A threat.
A threat to do what?
Against the officials, American government.
Say it.
I just did.
To murder the President of the United States?
Well, I wouldn't exactly say that, but basically that was the idea.
Well, was it or was it not?
It was.
Are you saying that Castro could possibly have been the catalyst behind the assassination of President Kennedy?
I made statements to the Rockefeller Commission, to the Schweiker Committee, that I believed, with what I know, and I'm sorry I couldn't actually tell you everything that I told the committee, that I believe that there was a conspiracy Americans involved in the conspiracy, plus several countries who were aware and also involved in this conspiracy that killed the President of the United States.
Were you involved in that conspiracy, Frank?
Myself, no.
Do you know that there have been allegations that Castro was not involved and that it came from the intelligence community of the United States, frustrated and bitter because President Kennedy, after the Bay of Pigs, the abortive invasion, the Bay of Pigs, that fiasco, pulled back the CIA and pulled back people like yourself and said, no more counter-revolutionary activities in Cuba, that bitterness generated an assassination attempt on the president's life. How do you respond to those charges?
There was bitterness, but I doubt very much whether a federal intelligence organization in the United States would involve themselves with killing the President of the United States.
Where were you on November 22nd, 1960?
In Miami, Florida, at home.
And who will tell us that that, in fact, is true?
Well, there's proof.
Did you know Louis McWillie?
I believe I met Louis McWillie in Havana. There was a time at the early part of 1959 where Castro, when he came over to the Air Force Base, where he needed, he asked me really to take charge of the gambling casinos for the Cuban government.
So while you were a CIA agent, you were also Minister of Gambling for Castro?
That's correct.
So you knew Louis McWillie?
I knew a number of the people who were in control of the
Specifically, did you know him, Louis McWillie, Jack Ruby's friend?
I really couldn't swear to it, but I believe I have met Mr.
He was the
McWillie.
manager of the Tropicana Club.
I met him. Yes.
Did you ever meet Jack Ruby?
No, I don't believe so.
What do you think about, we have stories now that there were two men hired by CIA operatives, John Roselli and Sam Giancana, two mafia hoods. They were hired by the U.S. government to assassinate Fidel Castro. Did you know anything about those two men, Frank?
No.
Do you think that their deaths within a year of each other were related?
Well, there's two possibilities. One, the Cuban intelligence organization probably sent agents to kill him. They have that much power to prove.
So you notice he's kind of towing the Cuban exile line, right? That it was Castro who killed JFK. It was Castro agents.
Castro agents killed Santo Trafficante and Giancana. Bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. He's all over the place, and yeah, there's only like a minute more.
That it's on record in the United States government that Castro did send Mexican agents to the United States to kill myself and also the ex-chief of the Cuban Air Force who came into exile, which I arranged his escape from Cuba. So Castro is capable of killing people. He's done it in South America.
And your theory is that he was behind the assassination?
No, it's not my theory. I think the facts are there. The evidence is there with testimony that I have given and certain facts that Fidel Castro was involved in a conspiracy to kill the President of the United States. Plus, Russia's KGB was aware, possibly involved in this conspiracy to kill the President of the United States.
Okay, Frank, we have run out of time, unfortunately. On a program like this, everything gets compressed. I want to thank you for joining us. I must add, in all frankness and honesty, that you are a convicted burglar, that your credibility has to be impeached because of your own prior activities involved in, as a double agent. We don't know if you're a triple agent or a quadruple agent or anything else. I want to still thank you for coming on and for telling your...
That is pretty good. He ripped him hard, man.
He did.
He did. Someone said earlier that Geraldo is I don't know, crazy or something. I can't find the comment.
Double B said he's a sellout. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it was different. But it's okay. I mean, Geraldo was had this program, and we've played parts on the members only. Where I think we talked about Marguerite, his interview with Marguerite on the same interview and things like that. But let me go back to the PowerPoint. And I want to read something that I thought summed up Frank Sturgis amazingly. And this is from Gaten Fonzie on his book, The Last Investigation, also from Spartacus. A character like Frank Sturgis illustrates some of the dilemmas in investigating the Kennedy assassination. He can't be ignored. He is, by his own admission, a prime suspect. He had the ability and the motivation and was associated with individuals and groups who considered and even employed assassination as a method to achieve their goals. Any investigation would have to devote some time and resources to Frank Sturgis. But there were other similar characters who injected themselves into the investigation and drained time and resources far beyond any valid justification. In some of those cases, I thought I caught a glimpse of an intelligence connection, and in one, was something more, a force deliberately manipulating the investigation into turns so weird and wild, I sometimes wondered if what I was doing was serious reality or if I had been lured into a carnival and thrown onto the loop. So here he's saying, like, Frank Sturgis, fascinating guy, was involved in anti-Castro activities, was, did know Castro. And then we get into the Marita Lorenz stuff, which allegedly he recruited her to kill Castro. Definitely someone you can't ignore, but at the same time, is more of a waste of time to kind of put it into easier words to understand.
Like many of these guys, he's one of these guys that could have definitely done it.
Right.
Whether or not he actually did or not is another thing. And again, I think that what you're seeing here in a lot of this post-assassination stuff, especially years down the road, is a lot of these guys taking, not necessarily coming right out and taking credit for certain things, but vaguely alluring that there's a possibility that they were involved in some form or fashion. And you see this from Hall, you see it from Howard, you see it from Sturgis, you see it from E. Howard Hunt, you see it from, you name it.
Yeah.
And of course, and Hemming too. And all of these guys could have definitely done it. Right? They had the right pedigrees, they had the right backgrounds,
Right.
They had the right motivations. The question is, after the fact, it's real easy to take credit for something that nobody else seemingly is taking credit for,
Yeah. And Rob, I think there's even more going on in terms of, like, for example, like Hemming and Hall and Sturgis, other people are reporting on other people, and they all have different kind of goals. And I think if they had some issue with each other, they just implicated the other in shit later. Right? Which just confuses everything.
Yeah.
But it's because they have personal, drama.
Beefs. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Personal beefs. Right. Not based in fact, but it's because they beefed at some point. Maybe, Hall took Hemming's, connect with Logue or
Some points they may vaguely take credit for something, and other times they might vaguely throw one of these other guys under the bus.
Throw shade. Yeah. Vaguely. Yeah.
Like when it was convenient for them to make it appear that, they could possibly have been involved, then that's the way it went. When there's times where maybe you should throw somebody under the bus, like there's another investigation coming up, so maybe you should change your narrative a little bit and throw some shade over on this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100%, man. I literally think that's how this.
Because you got to figure, okay, the assassination goes down, right? 3 years later, the Garrison investigation starts up, and guess who he wants to talk to? All these different guys, right? You name them, he brings them in and talks to them. Hall, Howard, and like we talked Wednesday night about Gerald Hemming and Roy Hargraves coming to New Orleans and offering up their services to help the Garrison investigation unsolicited, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm still sitting on this list of names that Hemming gave to Garrison to investigate, and it's 4 pages long.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, and we're not going to get into tonight, but maybe next Wednesday. But it's interesting, the names that he names. But so, you know, you seemingly the assassination goes down. Of course, Oswald is picked up for it, but nobody thinks that Oswald did it, right? So again, maybe if you were leveraging the assassination monetarily to people that offered you money to make it happen before, like I said, you know, you go back to these bigwig trucker guys and oil geologists and bankers and whoever, you're like, well, hey, you guys offered 50 grand plus. If this got to be dead, we did it. Where's our money? You know, type of thing. But then you realize, oh shit, Garrison's opening up in another investigation and he wants to talk to us. What do we say now? You know, you try to throw shade somewhere else and then nothing happens. Nothing comes out of that. So you think, whew, I made it through another investigation. We're golden. You know, that wasn't that bad, right? And then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. The Clay Shaw trial ends in 1969.
Here comes the church committee and the
Here
Rockefeller
comes the
Commission.
church committee, the Swiker committee, right? In 74, 75. And then you have to go talk to them, and you made it through there unscathed. There's not really nothing. They just wanted to talk, whatever. And then, oh shit, the House Select Committee on Investigations is starting. It's another investigation, and they want to talk to me again.
Let's throw shade somewhere else.
And now these guys seem serious. They're really investigating stuff. They're really sitting us down. They're really making us talk. They're giving me immunity to talk, which means they can't do nothing to me. They gave Loran Hall immunity as testimony.
Yeah, they did.
Because he took the fifth on the first question they asked him, which was, where were you on November 22nd, 1963? And he took the fifth. I respectfully declined to answer that on the grounds that it may incriminate me. It was exactly what he said.
Sir, you have immunity. Do you know what that means? Plead the fifth.
Yeah. They said, you remember what you read at the beginning and signed, and everybody signed, you have immunity. You can't plead the fifth. You have to answer the question. And
Yeah.
oh, okay. Well, I was in California. Yeah. Okay. Sure you were.
Yeah. Well, before get the blowhorn ready, sir, because we have to congratulate one of our super spies, Mr. Jack Taylor. It is a girl.
Oh shit. Bravo, bravo. Congratulations, sir.
Yes.
Now you're gonna have to worry about your poor granddaughter for the rest of her life. Protect her against the scafoozes of the world.
A tall order. But congratulations, sir.
Keep her out of Connecticut. Everybody will be just fine. No, seriously, congratulations.
Yes.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yes. And even awesome that he's checking in with the pod during the gender reveal to update us, right?
Yes. I don't know how they were gender revealing it, but I guess just imagine they brought a giant elephant in and it farted a big cloud of pink dust. And that's how you know it's a girl. And then you see immediately Jack run behind a tree, get on his phone and start texting.
I feel like it might have been maybe I'll keep it brief or vague, football related. Maybe they threw a football into a balloon and it even popped out blue or pink.
You never know.
Congratulations, sir. Yes, congratulations to Jack For sure. So let's get back to my illustrious PowerPoint, shall we? Let's go to FBI document, Commission Exhibit number 59, United States Department of Justice, a report titled Lee Harvey Oswald, Internal Security. Right? So you're thinking December 3rd, 10 days after the assassination, give or take. And Frank Fiorini comes into this. An article appeared in the November 26, 1963 issue of the Pompano Beach, Florida Sun-Sentinel, a daily newspaper published in Pompano, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Beach, yes, Florida. The article stated that Frank Fiorini, head of the anti-communist brigade, said that Lee Harvey Oswald had telephone conversations with the Cuban government, GR2 intelligence during November 62. Interesting, 62. I wonder if that's a typo. Fiorini claimed that Oswald contacted Miami-based supporters of Fidel Castro, Prime Minister of Cuba, and that Oswald had connections with the Cuban government in Mexico and New Orleans, Louisiana. So, I'm just going to stop right here. We heard Frank Sturgis talk about how, Castro was behind the assassination, and I have another video, I'm not sure if I'm going to play it, that talks about a KGB agent was behind the grassy knoll, right? So you could see where his intentions of linking this to are, right? Which is, of course, the dirty commies, right? Fiorini claimed that Oswald handed out pro-Castro literature in Miami in November 1962, tried to infiltrate Cuban anti-Castro organizations in Miami, and is known to have a bad temper. Interesting.
Yeah, because in November of 62, Oswald is, I believe, living in Fort Worth, or at least we know he visited Fort Worth for Thanksgiving at his brother's house in 1962, because they did that little home movie there.
Right.
But it could have been earlier in the month.
Yeah. I mean, we have no evidence that he was really in Miami, apart from,
But a lot of people over the years have said Oswald was in Florida and Miami specifically.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just Fiorini that's claimed this. It's
right.
A lot of different people claim this.
Right. And my question is, I wonder if Frank Sturgis had any inside information in term. I'm sure he did, but in terms of being in Mexico and New Orleans, connections with the Cuban government, which would mean like the embassy, you would think, right? Mexico City. So you got to wonder where he's getting this information 10 days after the assassination.
Yeah, and it wasn't just in 1962 that Oswald is alleged to be in Florida. When he was supposed to be in Russia, there's reports of Oswald in Florida as well.
Yeah, that is true. Good point.
So either somebody was impersonating him for some reason, which is possible. So very interesting to think about.
Yeah. Let's read the rest of this document. MMT1, who was personally associated with Buchanan and Fiorini. So this dude that wrote, I want to ask you about this, Rob, that wrote this article for the Florida Sun-Sentinel. His name was not Gerry Buchanan, but James.
His brother.
Right, who was a newspaper writer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that, and Jim of Interpen, right? So
yeah.
You gotta wonder.
One of them, I can't remember which one, was alleged to get in an actual fist fight with Lee Harvey Oswald
in Miami. Yeah, right. It was in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. I mean, I've never really seen any definitive evidence that he was handing out leaflets in Miami, but it would be par for the course for Oswald, right? I mean, he did it in Dallas. We don't hear about that very much. We mainly hear about the New Orleans one incidents. MMT1, who was personally associated with Buchanan and Fiorini, advised on November 27th, 63, that the author of the article is James Buchanan, who was considered by persons active in Cuban revolutionary matters as being unreliable. So, interesting, the FBI is saying this. This source also advised Frank Fiorini, also known as Frank Anthony Sturgis, is well known as a soldier of fortune, adventurer, and mercenary who has been involved in Cuban revolutionary activities for the past 6 years. On November 27, 63, Frank Fiorini advised he had not seen the above-mentioned newspaper article, but had made some offhand comments to Buchanan on the telephone the previous day. Yeah, I'm sure they were offhand. I'm sure they didn't have like direct hand in that article the day after, right? Fiorini said his comments were guesses, speculation, and rumor based on information about Oswald carried in the press. Fiorini claimed Buchanan misquoted him, and he had no information that Oswald ever contacted the Cuban government. So now he's kind of like caught in the lie, right? And he's like, "Oh, how do you know about it?" And he goes, "Well, I was misquoted," right? Sturgis says. Was ever in Miami or Mexico, ever passed out pro-Castro literature or tried to infiltrate Cuban anti-Castro organizations. Fiorini explained that there is much rumor and speculation in Miami by Cuban exiles concerning the possibility that Oswald was connected with the Cuban government. Now, I don't doubt that in one bit. Fiorini explained he was just reporting this speculative material to Buchanan, who wrote it up the next day, and had no idea if it was true or false. Sounds a lot like he was confronted with this information he gave, and he kind of was like, "Oh, well, I was misquoted," right? I'm not supposed to know this. So let's get to, was Frank Sturgis in Dealey Plaza? And Rob, I had, and this might be maybe the best indicator, is I had to like look up which tramp was alleged to be Sturgis, because none of them looked like it. And in fact, the guy in the front would have been my guess.
But no,
it is the tall tramp in the middle. This is the Scafuza who is Frank Sturgis, allegedly.
Right. AJ Weberman will say it is Frank Sturgis.
Yes. So we have Sturgis on the left and right, and the tramp in the middle. And I mean, it's hard to tell from just like random side by sides, but to me, it does not line up. And again, we can go back to this one, or let's go back to these pictures, right? Okay. Again, he's a few years younger here, but Marita Lorenz, this is not the best picture. I guess the picture in the left might be the clearest, right? With this very well-looking Gumar here, right? And you could see the likeness in the photo in the middle, right? Like, same guy, right? A few years older. Doesn't line up for me. This is the other one. This is Sturgis, maybe a few years after, maybe in the 70s. This is Tramp B, I guess as he is called. And then on the right, this is something that I think AJ Weberman actually tweeted that I screenshotted. He's been going on a rampage the past few days with this stuff. It's a stretch. I mean, look at the hairline right here in the middle right. It's different type of hair too. One hair is.
I mean, you could stretch it and say, okay, go back to the comparison, that first comparison picture you had up. Yeah, that one. So the chin, I could see, okay, the chin kind of looks similar. Even the nose could look similar. Even the ear could look similar. Right? It's the eyes for me and the forehead. The dude in the middle has got a way higher fucking forehead than Sturgis.
Yeah.
And a lot of more skin under his chin than Sturgis.
Right. And we have Sturgis's hair being like a little on the, I don't want to say curly side. Of course, it's combed in some of these pictures, but
facially, he just doesn't look like the guy.
Right.
You could say some features appear similar, like the chin, like the nose, like the ears, but facially, they just don't look even similar to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, we've heard, the Tramps being named as Charles Harrison, like Woody Harrelson's father, right? The guy that he shot a federal judge, right? And it was in Texas. Chauncey Holt, David Christ, that's another one of Weberman's things.
Yeah.
Right. And Charles Rogers. But actually, who found the DPD files, Rob, Mary LaFontaine, where did we talk about her? What book did we talk about her recently in? I know, I couldn't think of it either.
Something Oswald.
Yeah, maybe someone in the chat could let us know. But we talked about her book on a certain subject that I can't remember.
The Fourth Tramp.
Yeah. Discovered November 22nd, 1963, arrest records in the DPD had released in 1989, which named three men as Gus W. Abrams, Harold Doyle, and John F. Gedney. Gedney, yes. Sorry, this font is small.
Yeah. Gedney is the guy who is supposed to be Sturgis. Gus Abrams, the old guy, and Harold Doyle is the guy in front.
Okay. According to these arrest records, the three men were taken off in a boxcar in the railroad yards right after the president was shot, detained as investigative prisoners, described as unemployed and passing through Dallas, then released 4 days later. In an immediate search for these three men by the FBI and others prompted an article by Ray and Mary LaFontaine. God, it's bugging me. What book?
Oswald Talked.
Yes. I think that was it. Yeah.
Got it just a cunny hair before you, NK, before your comment popped up.
Good. Thanks, NK. Thank you. Page of the 1992 February Houston Post. Less than a month later, the FBI reported that Abrams was dead and that interviews with Gedney and Doyle revealed no new information on the assassination. So we all know the Tramp thing was kind of debunked. I don't want to say very early, but maybe in the late 80s, 90s, right?
In the 90s.
Yeah, for people that are paying attention. So then we're going to go to...
But A.J. Weberman still believes it.
Oh, well, let's see what else he believes. This is a screenshot from Oswald's address book. And I have a theory here, Rob. So you see on the top left, it goes Rush right? Which I think is short for Russia, for Forin, which I think AJ Weberman thinks is for Fellini, right?
Farini.
Farini, sorry. This is messing me up. I think it says foreign, not Foreign, like it's supposed to be spelled. I think this is Oswald's dyslexic way of spelling foreign.
Yeah, I would
What are
agree.
your thoughts on it, right?
I would agree.
And he claims that he came up twice, and this is the other one. Let me see if I could find it here. Oh no, I guess this is the same one. It's still foreign, right? He obviously doesn't know how to spell foreign. Oh, I guess it's this one on the right here. I don't know. I don't know where he gets twice from, but I think the first one. This is not. This is not Frank Sturgis's name here.
No.
No, it's a huge stretch to think so. So, of course, you have a 1962 FBI document. This is actually a CIA document, memorandum for the FBI, and subject Frank Fiorini. And this is about him and I'm going to brush through this to keep it quick. Marcos Diaz Lanz dropping pamphlets into Cuba, right? So, like Fonzie said, dude was involved in shit. But is there any evidence to say he was in Dealey Plaza or involved in the assassination? Not that I've seen. This is the HSCA final report. Press photographs of the three tramps apprehended by Dallas police near Dealey Plaza shortly after the assassination were analyzed and compared with photographs of a number of persons, including E. Howard Hunt, which of course was rumored to be the other tramp, right? Frank Sturgis, Thomas Arthur Valet, right? The Scafuza in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Daniel Carswell, which is the alias for David Christ, who was in Cuba for about 3 years, and Fred Lee Chrisman, each of whom had been alleged by critics to be linked to the assassination. All the subjects compared, only Fred Lee Chrisman, this is interesting, a conservative active in New Orleans at the time of the assassination, was found to have facial measurements consistent with any of the tramps. Guess they had facial recognition software back in 78, 9. I don't know.
No, an anthropologist would have to be do it like by hand, like picture comparison.
Oh, I see. That is what that means. Yeah. Anthropologists could not make positive identification of Chrisman. However, the committee could not establish any link between Chrisman and the assassination. So I found that interesting. And then kind of weaving our way back to the initial statements of Frank Sturgis in the Rockefeller Commission. This is the Rockefeller Commission's final report. The allegation that Hunt and Sturgis, because of course they're together as tramps, and I think they might have had a relationship, were together in Dallas on the day of the assassination. Hunt and Sturgis testified under oath to members of the commission staff. They both denied they were in Dallas on the day of the assassination. Hunt testified that he was in Washington, D.C., metropolitan area throughout the day, and his testimony was supported by two of his children and a former domestic employee of the Hunt family. I'm guessing like a maid. So again, not the best people to confirm where you were, but it is what it is. Sturgis testified that he was in Miami, Florida, throughout the day of the assassination, and his testimony was supported by that of his wife and a nephew of his wife. That nephew, who was then living with the Sturgis family, is now a practicing attorney in the Midwest, which I think they might have added there to give him some credence of how could this guy be Wrong. He's an attorney. With the exception of the domestic employee of the Hunt family, all witnesses directly supporting the presence of Hunt and Sturgis in Washington, D.C. and Miami, Florida on the day of the assassination are family members or relatives. Less weight can be assigned to the testimony of such interested witnesses. I agree. If there is substantial evidence to the contrary, or if there is, in the absence of substantial conflicting evidence, however, the testimony of the family members cannot be discarded. As in, if there's no other better evidence than the family's testimonies have to be considered, right? Because there's no other arguments to suggest otherwise.
Enter Marita Lorenz.
Yes. Hunt testified that he had never met Frank Sturgis before they were introduced by Bernard Barker in Miami in 1972. Sturgis testified to the same effect. Sturgis further testified that while he had often heard of, quote, Eduardo, a CIA political officer who had been active in the work of Cuban Revolutionary Council in Miami, the CRC, prior to the Bay of Pigs operation in April 61, had never met him and did not know until 71 or 72 that Eduardo was E. Howard Hunt. Sturgis had also been active in anti-Castro groups in the Miami area before, during, and after Hunt's assignment on the political aspects of the Bay of Pigs project.
So E. Howard Hunt was George Ioannidis before George Ioannidis was George Howard Gebler.
Yeah.
Kind
of. It's not far off.
Interesting.
Other testimony linked Hunt to Sturgis at a date earlier than 1971, and I'm just kind of going through that. So there's all this talk. So Frank Sturgis, right? Sturgis is not his real name, right? It's Frank Fiorini. So why did he choose the alias, if you will, of Sturgis? Well, the Rockefeller Commission report attempts to explain this. He took the name Sturgis from a fictional, or people alleged that Frank Fiorini took the name of Sturgis from a fictional character, Hank Sturgis, in a novel written by Hunt in 1949, Benini Run. Sturgis testified that his name at
Bimini Run.
Benini Run.
Bimini.
Bimini.
Yes.
Yes, third time's a charm. Sturgis testified that his name at birth was Frank Angelo Fiorini, that his mother's maiden name was Mary Vona, that his father's name was Angelo Anthony Fiorini, that his parents were divorced when he was a child, and that his mother subsequently remarried a man named Ralph Sturgis, and that at his mother's urging, he legally changed his name in Norfolk, Virginia, where he was from, sometime in the 1950s, where he was a cop, sometime in the 1950s, to take on the last name of his stepfather. A search of the relevant court records disclosed that a petition was filed on September 23, 1952, in the Circuit Court of the City of Norfolk, Virginia, pursuant to which a Frank Angelo Fiorino, they spelled that wrong, petitioned to change his name to Frank Anthony Sturgis. The petition recited that his mother had divorced his father about 15 years previously and had married one Ralph Sturgis. That he had been living with his horribly worded, that he'd been living with his mother all his life, that his mother was known as Mary Sturgis, and that his stepfather also desired him to change his name to Sturgis. So Frank Sturgis did not allegedly, apparently, choose his alias as Sturgis because of a fictional character and
just a coincidence.
Yeah, and Hunt's novel, but instead was his stepfather's name, which I thought was really interesting. And let's see if I have anything else. The order appears in the records of the circuit court. In the light of this documentary evidence, no weight can be given to the claim that Sturgis took his present name from a character in a Hunt novel, or that the name change was associated in any way with Sturgis knowing Hunt before 71 or 72. And then goes on to talk about Hunt and Sturgis and things like that. But last thing I have here with the Rockefeller Commission report, with respect to Sturgis, even more distinguishing characteristics were observed. Sturgis looked like a Latin, which I've heard a few times as I've been reading up on him this week, whereas the derelict had the general appearance of a Nordic. Sturgis had very black, wavy hair, and the derelict, I think they mean the tramp, right? And the tramp had light or blonde and straighter hair, which is what I had commented on. Sturgis had a rather round face with square chin lines. The tramp had an oval face with a mere rounded chin. Sturgis and the tramp had markedly different ratios between the length of their noses and the height of their foreheads. They also had different ear and nose contours. So this is even before the HSCA, Rob. The Rockefeller Commission is saying that.
They obviously didn't read A.J. Weberman's book.
Might have came out after the Rockefeller Commission. Maybe. Around the same time. So yeah, that is all I have. But I thought Gaten Fonzie really summarized it well when he said, listen, like Frank Sturgis, he's a fascinating fucking character, right? Dude was involved with Castro, anti-Castro efforts, CIA, blah, blah, blah. But can you make any legitimate claims to him being involved in the assassination? Or him in Dealey Plaza? Not so sure. So
yeah. Like I said, we didn't really get into the Marita Lorenz allegations, and
yeah, might have to save that from a different day.
Worth of swamp shit.
Yeah, we might have to save that for a different episode. Yeah.
One more thing before we go, Joe. I found some other stuff that I had not uploaded at the time, just to show everybody real quick about Lester Logue. So the circle chick is Beth Duff, his first wife.
Okay.
And this is 1932.
She looks like a hottie for 32.
No, this is 1932. She's in high school, Joe. She's
sorry,
probably like 15 or 14 in this picture.
That is inappropriate. She would grow up to be a good-looking woman.
I like your bangs.
Man, my first girlfriend in elementary school or middle school had bangs. And I'm still not kind of over it.
Bangs in the 80s, bro.
I'm still not kind of over it, but that is.
All right, here's Lester's marriage license to Beth Duff. So he married her in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was 31 and she was 25 at the time. And they got married in 1947. Or 1944, I'm sorry.
I was hoping it was 47.
No, remember 44 is the same year that his second wife was born. So
yeah.
There's this, and then one more thing is their divorce. Beth D. Duff Logue, age of their divorce was 67. Her birth date was 1919. They got married on June 10th, 1944, divorced December 17th, 1986 from Lester Logue, and they had 3 children together. One daughter that I know of. I'm not sure about the other 2. So
hope she inherited some of his monies.
Hope so. She got traded in for a new model. I hope she got something. Poor Beth. Give a man your life and children and then get tossed to the side of the road for some new poon. Life's not fair, Joe.
It isn't. It isn't. Yeah. Especially when you're a rich oil man.
That's right. All right, folks. Just to sum it up a little bit. We know what these guys were up to. They were grifting. They were scheming. They were doing some real things. I mean, when Loran Hall pulls up to your driveway with a trailer load of guns and explosives and wants to store it at your crib for a couple days, obviously you can see that your money is going for a good cause.
Right. He's not completely full of it.
Well, and little does Lester Logue know that all that stuff came from the California grift. All those rich doctors like Stanley Drennan, William Potter Gale, Leslie Eugene Bradley, and all these West Coast heavies. Because you remember when Loran Hall went to get Hemming's rifle out of Hawk at the pawn shop, he wrote him a check. And the check was something about the anti-commun, the Committee to Free Cuba or something like that. And not only did he get the rifle out of Hawk, he also purchased a movie camera.
Right. Yeah, you showed the form. You showed the form at some point, like maybe earlier this year, of that transaction. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and it wasn't just some shitty like home Zapruder camera either. It was a legit movie film camera, like a better quality than your average home movie camera. I mean, it wasn't some gigantic Hollywood thing, with two reels and all that shit. You put it on your shoulder, but it was still a very nice camera,
right?
That they had picked up. And when you put those two things together, taking a rifle to Dallas and the movie camera, yeah, I don't know, Joe. Something is rotten in Denmark or Dallas.
Yeah, to bring it all back to Denmark. Yeah, Scandinavia.
Something is rotten in Scandinavia. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And yeah, a couple comments I had. Dave Spark, Chris was the wire guy. Yeah, he was kind of like the John Martino of the technical services branch, and he was arrested in Havana, Cuba, once he got caught trying to bug the Chinese embassy, and was held in jail for I think almost 3 years. So yeah, and what's the other one I have starred here? Do we have any hockey outtakes, Joe B? Tiny asks. We'll save that for Wednesday. I don't have them ready, but we do have some in the queue.
All right, so they're coming. Just calm your teeth eyes. They are coming.
They're coming.
We have.
Your boy is still sore from Tuesday night's game. He went back to his physical ways and hit a bunch of people, and now I can't move my knees for the past 3 days.
Pulled a janner muscle down there.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the merch and the new merch, and we have some even better merch coming on the horizons. And
yes.
Speaking of merch, get the damn dog, Ruby.
Ruby,
hi.
All right, folks. There she is. That's going to do us for this evening. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And if you enjoyed the show, we will be back next Wednesday for members only, where I have got a 4-page list of people that Gerry Hemming sold out to Jim Garrison.
That's going to be great.
Very interesting. So, if you're not a channel member yet, the link is in the description. I highly urge everyone to do it. You're going to miss a hell of a show if you don't. Also, grab some hot sauce from the link in the description if you're a fan of hot sauce. And the merch link is down there too. All that being said, thank you, folks. It's been an awesome evening. And hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Yeah. Actually, we'll see you before that for the book review. But
are you not giving me the weekend off for my birthday?
No, man.
Fuck. It was worth a shot. It was worth a shot.
You get no breaks. You got a break coming up. That's the only one you're getting this year. I've already gave you one. Now you want 2. Now you're asking for 3.
Thank you, everyone. It was worth a shot, sir. It was worth a shot.
I mean, look, even our boy Greg, he's probably in like Prague, Czechoslovakia right now, vacationing with his lovely bride, and he still manages to watch the show. Then the next week he's in New Zealand. Yeah. He's globetrotting, and he pops in and hangs out with us for the show.
And Jack popping in during his first grandchild's gender reveal. I mean, we have a lot of people that are very committed, so we are just as committed.
We do. You never know whose deathbed you're going to be on.
All right, guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you later.
Yes, we love you. We'll see you Wednesday. As always, peace.
Peace.